Morning, y'all. It's real early here in Virginia. It's 5:31 a.m. But I just want to share something with y'all this morning. Excuse me, I need some coffee. Why hike the AT? I wrote this. I wrote a note on Facebook in the notes section, which I don't know how easy that is for other people to see because it took me a minute to find it. But it's something that I sat down and I wrote because hiking AT is kind of a weird thing to do. So anyway, I'm going to read it to y'all. So I wanted to share that. Anyway, it says, I know most people won't understand a desire to carry 40 pounds on your back and walk from Georgia to Maine through snow, wind, rain, fog, aching feet, tired muscles, and just general discomfort. So I've decided to try and express this through written word. It gives me the time to think and ponder without being put on the spot. My family, whom I would be leaving behind, probably just chalks it up to our silly dad/husband walking in the woods like he likes to do. Well, this is mainly for them, to help them understand why I'm thinking of doing this and the reason why. That doesn't make sense, but anyway. While there may be some truth to the walk in the woods, it's not the whole story. So it's not to bore anybody, just know that this dream started a long time ago in the state of New Hampshire before I had thoughts of a wife and kids and all that. In other words, I was young. Since I'm talking about family, I think it's important to point out that even though I want to do this with Brandon, it does not mean I don't want to do it with you. And of course, I'm talking to my family right there. On the contrary, we can't do it without you. I can't express enough how important you all are to us, and whether you see it or not, you have a huge role in this. I'm simply looking at this as another deployment, a short one at that, but in my heart I feel it's just our time. And after 20 years with my beautiful wife, Miss Lisa, I cannot see asking you to do this as far as sleeping in the mud and everything else. For 5 to 6 months, knowing you would if I asked is enough. And she would. To my kids, nobody ever said you could only do it once. So a good place to start is really quite simple, setting a goal and then going out and achieving that goal. This, of course, will not only be physically challenging, but also mentally challenging. I've read that nobody hikes the AT without, at some point, thinking about quitting. Some more than others, but still all have the thought. This is one of the examples I desire to be to my family. If you have a dream, pursue it. Do what it takes. Push through the hard times, and when you can't, you lean on Jesus and you'll find He'll carry you. Then there is the desire to strip down life as I know it, right down to the bare bones. While on the trail, your main focus is walking, food, water, and shelter. Life at its simplest. For some of us, this opens up a whole other side of life that is masked by the day-to-day of modern society. To many, I can easily imagine this has no appeal. But then I've always found I'm just a little bit different. I saw a quote from William Martin today that spoke to my heart as I was considering the question I am now answering. Do not ask your children to strive for extraordinary lives. Such striving may seem admirable, but it is the way of foolishness. Help them instead to find the wonder and the marvel of an ordinary life. Show them the joy of tasting tomatoes, apples, and pears. Show them how to cry when pets and people die. Show them the infinite pleasure in the touch of a hand, and make the ordinary come alive for them. The extraordinary will take care of itself. One cannot deny that such a journey will change you in ways that I can't imagine, and I don't want to, for I may put a limit on what I will allow God to do. To be able to do this and experience it with my son is an opportunity, not a burden. Another question may be, why now? I mean, I'll be 43 when we start, and my body has definitely seen better days. Well, the obvious answer is 20 years in the Army. You know, they don't like you taking 5 months off to go for a walk. So I asked myself, if given the time earlier, would I have gone? Nope. You see, I worry. These days it's mostly about money, but I've always been a worrier. Well, this is based in fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of not being provided for, fear of not being able to provide, fear of you fill in the blank. I know this much. I have the Spirit of Jesus living in me, and where His Spirit is, there is no room for fear. So does dropping everything and taking off for a walk in the woods scare me? Yep. But I will take courage in the knowledge that the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords has my back. And when I made the decision to retire from the Army at 20 years, I made a note saying I could stay in 6 more years. God spoke to my heart at the time. He had other plans for me. He's had me since and hasn't let go. Not as I struggled with doubt, not in the last year and a half as we struggled financially, and certainly not now as I struggle with the decision of whether to do this or not. This is the example I desire to be for my family. Fear is natural, so live a supernatural life. For this is our calling. Don't settle for what fear tells you. Live limitless, and you can change the world. And then for some of the fun stuff, can you say epic adventure? If nothing else, we Heckles have an adventurous spirit about us. And this falls right in line when I think about a life-changing, hike up your skirt, sissy, come to Jesus type adventure. I mean, talk about a road less traveled. This one is only about 3 feet wide, and the human impact is greater than I can imagine, as we'll be meeting hundreds of people along the way. Not to mention, with 2 Heckles out on the trail, you know there will be some type of work that needs doing, and we'll be right in the thick of it. Once again, to be able to experience this with my son is nothing less than a great opportunity. And then once again, I cannot say it enough, there is no way I could ever consider this without the love and support of my amazing wife, Lisa. You're such a blessing to me, truly a gift of God that I don't deserve, but I thank Him for allowing me to share our lives together. In closing, as I contemplate, mull it over, and search my heart for the answer as to whether to go or not, I try to not think about expectations. A journey such as this must be experienced. However, I do have 2 expectations. It will physically change me. They say on average you burn 5,000 to 7,000 calories a day. And there's a lot. That's a lot if you don't know. And will it be a spiritual journey as well? I not only expect it, I will accept nothing less. And then I put a little note on the end, says, P.S. I try to proofread it as best I can, but I'm just a simple man in the ways of making fancy learning, trying to live for Jesus. As always, be blessed, be a blessing.